I'd like to welcome you to Hockey Inside Out. My name is Adam Susser, and I'm thrilled to introduce myself to you as the show's new host. I'm actually a comedian, so whenever you feel yourself rolling your eyes, that's only because I'm trying to make you laugh. Let's take a look at what we're going to be talking about on this week's episode. Number 1, we ask our panelists what their predictions are for the Habs this season. Number 2, will the Canadiens live to regret trading P.K. Subban this year? Number 3, will Alexander Radulov score goals under Michel Therrien's defensive-minded system? And number 4, are we surprised to see Mikhail, Sergachev, and Artturi Lehkonen make it out of Habs training camp alive to start the season in uniform? Remember, little old Sergey's only 18 years old. Let's meet our panel. Stu Cowan is with us today, formerly the Gazette sports editor. He was recently demoted back to sports writer. Sorry to hear about your demotion, Stu. She's a sports columnist at CBC Daybreak who is a regular panelist on this show all throughout last year. She walked into the studio today with blood already dripping down her face. I said, "Hey, Andy, let's keep the bloodlust for the show." And she said, "You better watch your back, Adam Susser. I'm coming to get you." Andy Bennett, ladies and gentlemen. I met this man for the first time in studio today, and I said to him, "Mr. Nyland, I am a huge fan of yours. I've been following your career for years, and I'm absolutely thrilled that we're going to be working together. Do you mind if I call you Knuckles?" And he said, "Well, my friends call me Knuckles. You can call me Sir." Chris Nyland, everyone. I spent my allowance this past weekend at my astrologist's conservatory, and by reading the stars and rubbing her magic ball, we concluded the following about the Habs' upcoming season. Alexander Radulov will give Max Pacioretty a run for his money as the team's leading goal scorer. Andrew Shaw will be that Gallagher clone that we want him to be. And Shea Weber will not only change the culture of the team, but make other teams think twice before pushing us around. Throw in a healthy Carey Price and a Brendan Gallagher, and a Galchenyuk who will have his biggest season to date, and you've got yourself one hell of a Stanley Cup contender that'll easily make the playoffs. They'll finish first in the East and third overall. Hey, that's my astrologist's translation of the universe's opinion, and I'm sticking to it. Where do you see the Habs finishing the season this year?
I think the Habs are going to make the playoffs. I don't know where they're going to finish in the East, but I can guarantee they're going to play 82 games, and they're going to be a lot better than they were last year.
I think a lot of it's going to depend on Carey Price, just like last year. If he stays healthy, he covers up a lot of mistakes or errors, and there's a lot of questions I think about offense, where the goals are going to come for. Will Radulov score? Lehkonen, what's going to happen with him? And I think they're going to miss PK's puck possession, bringing the puck out of their end. So if Carey Price is healthy, I say they make the playoffs in the bottom 4. And if he doesn't stay healthy, I don't think they do.
There's definitely still some question marks, right? Like, nobody knows what the future is for Radulov, how much he's changed, if he's really matured that much, and how much of an effect he's going to have on the score sheet. But I do see the Canadiens making the postseason and not the falling ass backwards into the playoffs. I think they'll comfortably make it into the playoffs, whether or not they're going to have enough changes done to really be a contender against those top teams. I mean, you're going to have to see them play a few games. There's too many changes in the offseason right now to confidently say what type of team they're going to be. It's all of these factors that are so nebulous right now, and especially seeing how it's going to function under Coach Therrien's system. But it's exciting. Sergachev, Lehkonen, I mean, these guys are going to be fun to watch. I
have to disagree about the PK. I think they're not going to miss PK lugging the puck and hogging the puck all the time. They're going to have a team that moves the puck, and that's really what they wanted last year. A lot of times when he hung onto the puck, it would throw the offense all off. Forwards would be waiting for the puck. They'd never get it. He'd get pressure. He'd have to turn back. I mean, that all looks good and everything, but it really hurts the overall offense of the team.
I think Radulov is one of the big question marks coming in, and even the players were saying they didn't really know much about him when he came here. They knew the story about him missing curfew in Nashville, etc. But he's been a real pleasant surprise. Just being around him every day at practice, he's the happiest guy on the ice. He's having a lot of fun. He seems to enjoy the attention. So I was sort of wondering about him when he came here, but I think he's going to have a good season.
And he's got contract on his mind too,
He does.
Right?
He has a 1-year deal.
Going back to what Chris said, do you think that the Habs will live to regret the PK trade, Stu?
I don't think they will this year maybe, but I think moving forward they will, because the difference in the age, and Shea Weber is Shea Weber. We know what we're going to get from him. As Chris said, he's a solid guy. He makes high percentage plays. He's a good leader. But PK is still in his prime, and I think PK is only going to get better, whereas Shea Weber is maybe on the downslope of his career. So I think this year the Canadiens look like they'll be okay without him, and they're going to be a totally different looking team. But I think moving forward, the longer we go on, I think the more this trade will be in.
For sure, I mean, but that is the obvious play that Bergevin is going for, right? He wants to win in the next year or two, 3 tops, if that.
Well, I agree with some of that moving forward, but then I look at Sergachev, a young kid, 18 years old. I think moving forward, he'll pick up that slack. He's a good puck-moving defenseman. He's smart with the puck. He can handle the puck. So I don't think they're going to miss PK all that much even down the road now. You know, and Shea Weber, I know a lot of people say the age difference there, but, you know, this kid's in shape. He's in unbelievable shape. He takes care of himself. I hear about all the hard miles. Come on, look at defenseman Chelios, how long he played for. Defensemen play longer, and maybe he might not be at the peak of where he was when he was in Nashville 3 years from now, but he'll still be a really good defenseman.
I'm not going to lie. I am sure there's going to be moments where you're going to watch PK Subban in Nashville, you know, Subban end-to-end, Subban with the spinorama, something that's going to make you hurt a little bit and be like, man, I wish seeing that on the... Not you, Chris. Not you, Chris. We know that. There's no love lost for you, but some may miss that. But I do agree with Chris that the puck moving, I think, will be better. And although sometimes I really enjoyed the entertainment value of watching Subban, you could see that everybody else on the ice was sort of just also watching the PK show, wondering.
Well, you couldn't get two players more different than Shea Weber and PK Subban.
Absolutely.
And Shea Weber is a large, intimidating man. He's intimidating on the ice. He's intimidating in the locker room when you're going to interview him. Interviews are not his favorite thing. As far as, you know, PK never met a microphone or a camera he didn't like. Shea Weber answers the questions and he does it, but he looks like he'd rather be doing it.
But you gotta love those guys too. And you heard some of the younger kids saying, you know, Shea Weber doesn't say a lot, but when he does speak, it's for a reason. And that, I think that's the kind of guy that can really make a difference in that locker room.
They're going to have a much better team together this year.
Okay, at this point in the show, it's time for a new segment that we're introducing called This Is Serious. Take a look. We're getting Montrealers' reactions about the news that the Nashville Predators are in negotiations right now with the Montreal Canadiens to trade back Shea Weber for PK Subban. It's a classic trade back. How do you feel about that?
I mean, it's sad. He's a great guy, represents Montreal really well, donated so much money to the Montreal Children's Hospital, charismatic guy who loves Montreal.
He's coming back.
He's coming back. Awesome. This seems fake.
As the new host of Hockey Inside Out, I'm given the responsibility of reporting the latest Habs news that's important to all Montrealers and hockey fans. Except for this segment, where I'm allowed to make up the news and go around passing it off as facts. So that's what I did. He's coming back to the city. It's a classic trade back. What do you boys think about that?
I don't know enough about it, but what do you mean a trade back? Like
trade back. They're just doing a trade back. Shea Weber's going back. Subban's coming here again.
If that would happen, that would be pretty cool.
It's happened.
It's happened?
It's happening.
You're not serious.
I swear.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yes! Thank you, PK, for coming back! Woo!
And that's the best news I've gotten all day, and I'm really excited.
Marc Bergevin released a statement this morning. Okay, I'll read you the statement. Well, yeah, because I'm not gonna take it. It takes too long to take out my phone. He said that it was a mistake. It was in the heat of the moment. Okay, and I hope Montrealers can find it in their hearts to forgive me. How do you feel about that? Can you forgive him?
This is fake.
No, it's not fake. Oh, damn it. It's not fake. Hold on. Yes? Are you serious? Okay. I just found out that they're trading Carey Price for PK Subban. I don't think that's better.
I don't think that's true, is it? It can't be true.
They're trading Carey Price for PK Subban.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Are you kidding me? Really?
I'm not joking. That's what they told us. Is this confirmed? 99%. Well, who's your source?
No. Please.
Do you have a message for Marc Bergevin?
Don't make any decisions like that again.
Can you do that a little bit more angry, though?
Don't make any decisions like that again.
Aside from Shea Weber, Alexander Radulov is the second highest profile pickup that the Habs made in the offseason. He only played in the NHL for 2 years and won playoffs about 4 years ago before relocating to Russia due to the much more vibrant party scene. He was quoted at the time as saying, I just want to be closer to where they make the vodka. During his little 8-year stint in the KHL, he managed to become the second all-time leading goal scorer. No big deal. Over the summer, Marc Bergevin signed him to a 1-year, $5.75 million contract, hoping that he likes partying a little bit less and can bring some much-needed firepower to the Habs' timid offense. Will Alexander Radulov be the offensive threat that everyone's hoping for? How do you think he'll fare under Michel Therrien's defensive-minded system?
I think he's going to be okay. I think he's going to, when you watch him, the thing that struck me the first time I saw him in the room is how big he is. He's a big man, 6'2", 205 pounds. He can skate, he has all the skill, and it seems like he really, really wants to be here. He's a different man than he was 4 years ago. He's got a wife and a young baby that's here in Montreal with him. And just, I was wondering about him when he came, but the more I've been around him, the more I think he really wants to be here and really wants to prove he can play in the NHL, and I think he'll do okay.
Did you say the more he really wants to be here, or the more he really wants a beer?
No, beer. I think he's, you know what, he looks like the guy who's a lot of fun to be around.
Okay.
I think he's like, he's the total opposite of
he's grown up a bit.
Yes, he's grown.
Okay.
He's not your, you know, you don't want to say your typical Russian, but he's a real talkative guy. He smiles, he laughs.
I mean,
he has a lot
how
of
long
fun.
are we going to lord that over him? His party history.
Yeah.
Like the guy has
Partying's
come in.
fun.
He says that a lot of people have noticed that he's changed, that he's mature, and the Canadiens are due for one of these experiments to work out with Radulov. And I know it's only preseason, but Radulov and Galchenyuk, I mean, that was a real joy to watch through the preseason.
Yeah, I think when you look at Mark's past with bringing in problem children here, it hasn't really worked for him. And Semin and Cassian. But Radulov, again, that was years ago. Hopefully he's matured. Apparently he has. He has a child. He's married. He wants to settle down, and he wants to play for another contract. As far as Therrien's defensive system, I mean, when you don't have the puck, you're on defense. When you have the puck, you're on offense. You play defense in your own zone and sometimes in the neutral zone. I don't think it'll affect him at all. If anything, it'll help him become a more complete player. And if they end up trapping and playing that game in the neutral zone, a guy like him should be able to feed off of that system and create turnovers, and then that transition game takes over. And him, Galchenyuk, whoever he's on the ice with, Plekanec, should be able to get offensive opportunities through those situations.
Well, Therrien said he was really impressed with his work ethic. He said, morning skate, practice, he's giving 100% all the time. So we'll see if that continues throughout the season.
Okay. Moving on to the new rookies who made it through training camp, Sergachev and Lehkonen. Were you guys surprised that that they're in Habs uniform now?
Even J.J. Danault, the assistant coaches, spoke to me the other day. It's what rarely happens. And Danault said he was surprised. I mean, they knew how good this kid was. They knew he was obviously a number 9 overall pick. But he just came into camp and just looked so good that they basically had to keep him. And then the Jeff Petrie injury also might have played a role in it. But it's amazing. This kid didn't speak a word of English last year when he went to Windsor. His English is almost perfect now. He's a mature 18-year-old. Physically and mentally. And I think if there is an 18-year-old ready to play in the NHL, it's this kid.
I went from thinking there was no way that they were going to put an 18-year-old defenseman to start the season with the team, and traditionally the Canadiens have been very reticent to kind of rush young guys, to then you watched him and you heard some of the things that the coaches were saying and some of his teammates were saying about him, about his maturity, about his hockey sense, about his size. I mean, he's not an 18-year-old. He doesn't have that 18-year-old skinny neck body. I mean, the guy he's a big kid
215
out there.
pounds.
Physically, he's set, I think, for the NHL right now. But, yeah, he's a little young. He has to mature. I thought originally he was going to be here for the 9 games. Now I think he's here for the long term. The Petrie injury, I don't believe, has anything to do with it. I think if it came down to that, then Zach Redmond may be the guy going down. But I really like this kid. I think he's going to have a bright future here. And Bergevin has said it all along, that if you come to camp and you show me you belong here, you're going to be here. And I think the kid has done that.
And I think that's a message that they send to future kids coming up also. That would see. It's one thing to say that. It's another thing to actually show that. And Lehkonen's the same thing. Lehkonen came in, and I mean, Lehkonen, we're talking about how Sergachev looks older than 18. Lehkonen looks like he's 12 years old when you see him in the baby face. But there's another kid who came in, he worked hard. They need some offense. He has some offensive skill, and they kept him.
Do you think, though, do you agree with the fact that the NHL is going younger? That's what I've heard a lot of guys talking about now, and that there's going to be more opportunities for these kids coming in and making a team at 18. Do you think that's...
It's skating ability, too, I think, is still number one. I mean, I think skating, both these kids can really skate.
Yeah, I think it's if you're ready, and they feel these guys are ready. Lehkonen was a bit of a surprise to me because I don't think we knew much about him, right?
No.
We didn't know a whole lot about him until Saku Koivu come out and said he can play now, and it seems like everybody's listening to that, and he belongs here. But, he had 9 shots his first game. He had some other opportunities. Took him a while to crack that goose egg, and he finally did. I think he's going to be a welcome addition. He'll grow over here. He's got good hockey sense, good puck skills. He got a great shot. So their top 6 looks a whole lot better than it did last year at the start of the season.
Lehkonen won 3 games preseason. He was without scoring. He had tons of chances, and it was starting to get to him. And then Michel Therrien said when he finally did get that first goal, he was like almost a different player after that. The confidence came, and then we saw the goal that he scored in the last preseason game. It was a beautiful
I'm sure
shot.
Michel told him to play better defense and scored a goal.
Okay, well, that's all the time we have for today. I want to thank you all for joining us, Stu, Chris, and Andy. Thank you so much for watching Hockey Inside Out. We post new videos every Thursday at 8 a.m., but it's the internet, so you can watch anytime after that. Leave comments in the comments section below. We want to know what you think about what we discussed today, and if you haven't already, subscribe to us on YouTube. My name's Adam Susser, and I'll see you next week.